On to this story now. Umalusi has given the Education Department the green light to release the results of the 2022 Matric exams. The quality assurance body is satisfied with the manner in which the examinations were administered. Matric results will be released on Thursday. Let's cross live now to eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu, who was attending that briefing in Pretoria for us earlier today. Manqoba, of course, Umalusi giving the Education Department a green light, but I remember specifically there were concerns coming from some provinces such as Mpumalanga about cheating. What did they say they're going to do about this?
Well, certainly, Masiho, there were some incidents of irregularities that were reported from this particular examination. But of course, we know that those will form part of the investigation by Umalusi. We know that they are busy with those investigations in several of the provinces. But overall, Umalusi giving the thumbs up as far as the release of the class of 22's results are concerned. Of course, it hasn't been an easy 3 years for the class of 2022, having been exposed to COVID-19. Back in 2020 when they were still in grade 10, and we know some of the restrictions that were there during that particular time. But the quality assurer saying that they are satisfied so far with the assessment, the qualitative assessments of those results. But to discuss this further, Maseko, I'm now joined by the CEO of Umalusi, Mr. Mafu Rakometi. Thank you very much, sir, for your time. Let's start here. Of course, you have given the thumbs up for the release of these particular results, but how satisfied are you as Umalusi about the credibility and the integrity of these exams?
The Executive Committee of Council has considered the reports of the different assessment bodies as to how they ran the examinations. Questions were asked about the areas which were problematic, and the Executive Committee of Council is satisfied that the irregularities that occurred were not systemic to the point where they could compromise the whole exam. There are a few irregularities, of course. Some have been handled and attended to and concluded, but some of them are still pending. And in instances where the investigations have not been concluded and the outcome is still pending, the results of those students will be nullified or blocked. Blocked, rather, is the correct word, until such time that the investigations have been concluded.
Let's talk about those irregularities. What are some of those that you saw in these exams? We know, of course, that cheating has been, one of the major ones as far as these exams are concerned. And, how many provinces are you looking at?
The irregularities cut across all the provinces, and they range from learners who come into the examination rooms with crypt notes, those who walk into the examinations with cell phones, those who are involved in group copying, who copy in a group, and one wonders where the invigilators were when that happens in the examination room. Now, we've seen a new phenomenon in the examinations of 2022, and that is the phenomenon of a WhatsApp group where students participate. They pay a certain amount of money for them to be favored with answers once the question paper goes live. This is unusual, this is unfortunate, but we are dealing with the situation so that we curb its recurrence in the future.
In terms of adjustments, we know that this is also one of the things that Umalusi has to look at in terms of the final result that will be given to students. Were there subjects that were adjusted, and how many, if there were, subjects that have been affected?
The subjects were adjusted, some upwards, some downwards. And I want to indicate that in the majority of cases, raw marks were accepted. As to the detail of those that were adjusted downward and upward, I would not have them standing here. But I need to mention in particular the mathematics for the Department of Basic Education, that the marks of mathematics in the Department of Basic Education, the Assessment Standards Committee of Council adjusted them upwards. And also that because this was a problematic kind of paper, because of the error in the paper, the students were compensated with the adjustment that happened at the marking center where the scaling up happened.
And then just lastly, in terms of, there's been issues as far as the release of these results are concerned. I think for the first time we're seeing them being released at this stage, quite late at this stage of the year. Do you think that this will put pressure on higher education institutions? We know that they have to register some of these matriculants into their institutions.
The higher education institutions have been involved in the planning for these examinations. What happened is that last year already, a decision was taken as to when the results will be released, and the universities were informed accordingly. So they did their planning properly. So nobody's going to be inconvenienced. The universities knew that the results will be released at this time. And you know that the students apply from as early as June of the previous year up to September. So it is all systems go for the universities as well.
Okay, thank you very much for speaking to us. That was Dr. Mafu Rakumetsi, just giving us a sense of what they have been doing as Umalusi to ensure, of course, that the results that are released will be results of a high quality. And of course, Masiho, those results will be released on the 19th of January.